Hello, this is John Manfredi from Revit for Interior Designers. And today I want to give you a quick tip on how to use an AutoCAD file to draw and help you draw an elevation in Revit. I have a project here on the screen. I'm going to launch a floor plan view. And in this example, I already have an AutoCAD floor plan beneath my Revit file. You can see here, if I change this to hidden line, here's my Revit project. Here it is in 3D. There are the walls of the project. But on the exterior of the wall, there's these windows here. Now, I need to draw those windows on this elevation here. And so how were these created? This is just one technique of how to make windows. It's not the only way to make windows. And I suggest there's better ways of making windows. But if you're using the window command and an AutoCAD file, here's a suggestion. So if I launch the floor plan view, and I want to elevate this part of the building here. So I'm going to launch that elevation right there. I'm going to double click. I'm going to get rid of this tag here. It's kind of annoying me. I'm going to double click here. And this is the north elevation of the building. Great. It just so happens that I have a drawing that describes where the windows are located in the north elevation of the building. Obviously, they'll let me know where the heights of the windows are located. That's great. But I can't see where the windows are located in plan. Like, that's a problem. I don't see the windows here. So let's go back to the floor plan view. And here I want to expose the AutoCAD drawing beneath the Revit file. So I'm going to use the wireframe command to make everything transparent. I'll then go to Architecture tab and use reference planes, which allow me to choose the edge of these openings here. And here I can choose the center of that window. Wait for the little triangle to appear right there. Click. Hold Shift to make the lines perfectly straight. And these reference planes are actually three-dimensional models. They're construction lines that assist me locate things in space. Imagine these lines are actually like large pieces of glass. I can see them three-dimensionally from another view, like an elevation view, not in a 3D view. So if I look at the elevation here, I can see that somewhere between these green lines, there's going to be windows. Okay, fine. I also change something with VG, visibility graphics. The command is right here, visibility graphics. I went down to the wall command here and made it halftone. Because if I didn't do that, the brick hatch pattern is very overpowering. It's hard to see where the lines are. It's very confusing. So I'm going to go VG. I'm going to go down the walls, and I'm temporarily going to make this halftone while I'm doing this work. So there. I can see where the windows are going to be located in a plan view, but how about the height of the windows? That's where the CAD drawing comes in. I just so happen to have a CAD drawing. So I'm going to go into Insert, and I'm going to go to Link CAD, which is the preferred method to bring in AutoCAD files into Revit. Link CAD. I'm going to find the elevation, this drawing here. And on the option here, I'm going to use Manual Origin, where I pick on the screen, and that's where the AutoCAD drawing will be placed. So I'm going to hit Open, and I need to pick somewhere on the screen. Click. Now, as soon as I do that, it's saying that there's a problem with its visibility. It won't display the drawing. The drawing's hidden. That's the problem we need to solve for. So what's going on here? Well, first of all, there's a crop box here. And the crop box hides anything that's outside of the box. It's a way of organizing your files. If it keeps information outside of this box from being visible, kind of like paper space in AutoCAD. So if I look into my view properties here, you can see that the crop view is activated, checkbox, and I can't uncheck it. Only because in this example, someone's using a scope box to determine the size of this crop box. Now, if you don't understand what scope boxes are, feel free to watch my tutorial video on that topic. But they're using the technique of scope boxes to determine the size of the crop region. So if I deactivate the scope box, it activates the crop region. Now I can basically take this crop region here and change its size. You can see I can now pull all these little levers here, these little grips, and adjust its size. It's no longer driven by the size of the scope box. And again, there's videos describing both crop boxes and scope boxes in the comments below. I need to deactivate this thing. So it's no longer working. It's not cropping out anything outside of the box. So if I type ZA for zoom all, I should be able to see the CAD file. It doesn't show the CAD file. What's going on? If I zoom out really far, I don't see a CAD file out there in space. All right, so let's go a step further. Let's troubleshoot this a little bit more. I'm going to cancel out these views here. I'm going to close them out by deleting those views. Not deleting, but deactivating. I'm going to launch a 3D view, 3D house, right? A default 3D view. And lo and behold, there's the CAD file way over there. So something is keeping it from being visible in my north elevation, or any elevation for that matter. So a quick trick, a quick technique would be in a 3D view, launch the top view of the view cube here, look at it from above, grab the CAD file. It's basically a plane, a drawing that's vertical, a billboard, take it and drag it to the center of the library, maybe even like half of it, just enough so it's overlapping the CAD file, the floor plan. And then return to the elevation view and type ZA again. And lo and behold, now it shows up. It's right there. Now we need to move it and align it with the floor levels so I can figure out the heights of the windows and draw some reference planes. So if I click on it, you see it's unpinned. You see this is a pin command here. It's not active, so it must mean that I can move this CAD file. I'm going to move it up here. And I'm going to line up the elevations. So this elevation I'm looking at of the north of the building is this one here. So I am going to zoom in here, and this is the top, should line up with this. So the command is called align. Modify, here's the align tool right there. Where is your destination? I want to go here. What's going to move there? This CAD file. Done. So now they're in alignment. Great. I click on the CAD file. I want to pin it so it doesn't move accidentally. I don't move it, erase it, adjust it accidentally. You see here it's stuck to the screen, and you can unpin it later to move it anywhere else you like. But it's visible. And now I just need to draw some reference planes across to denote where the heights of those windows are. So this window is basically, all these are the same. This window is here. So the top of that yellow line and like that mullion right there would be where the height of the window is located. So I'm going to draw a reference plane. I'm going to draw an architecture tab, reference plane, and draw a horizontal line across the entire drawing. And actually, I need 3 of these. I'm going to copy the command. I'm going to copy it up and copy it up again. I need 3 of those. One is going to be moved to the bottom of the window. I'm going to just zoom in here and use the align command, AL. It's right here. Line up with the sill. That line there. Okay, done. Ignore that warning. That's horizontal. Take the next one, drag it down to here, and line it up with the top or bottom of this mullion right here at the window. Align. Let's say I want it to line up with this piece here. Again, it's lined up. The drafting might be slightly off in AutoCAD. We have no control over that, so Revit's giving me warnings that something is not exactly perfectly straight. And then finally, the top of the window. So grab the last reference plane here, drag it down, and then here, align it to the top of the window there. So AL for align. Here, I want to go here with this line here. Done. So in a few quick steps, I've got horizontal lines telling me where the top of the window, the bottom of the window, and the mullion in the center of the window is located. And then I've got vertical lines here showing me how wide the window is. So the window goes here, and there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the design of the AutoCAD file. I'm trying to match that window design right there very quickly. One method. There's other methods to make windows in Revit. By no means is this the only way. So let's go back to the floor plan, and let's drop a window into Revit here. Put it right in there. In fact, I don't need this to be transparent any longer. I can use the hidden line command. These lines here, if I click and drag them, represent the size of the window. So window command is here. I'll look through your inventory, and let's assume that maybe you don't have the window that I have here. It's called instance window fixed. Let's say you don't have it in your library. This is the type selector of all the families that are available. And let's say you don't have this one here, but you need it used in your project. So to use it with the window command, you need to go to Insert, and you need to load family. Method number 1. If you have the Revit folders installed on your computer, there should be a folder called Windows. If I click load family, there's no folder in here called Windows. You don't have the full Revit family folders installed. I've got another lesson that talks about how to install these folders on your computer, but they don't come included in Revit these days. This is a fairly recent change. So what do? Well, you need to use the load Autodesk family from the cloud command instead. So you're going to go out to the cloud, Autodesk's cloud, and fetch it from their folders. So I'm going to go load family here. And I'm going to look for, these are all your folders that normally are installed in your computer, these here. And I did notice there's slight changes between installing on your computer and the cloud, but we're going to ignore that for now. I'm going to go Windows, click Window folder. And these are the windows you could load into your project. And we're going to load this one here called Instance Window Fixed. It's the best example that we can use for this project. I'm going to use that one there. A little checkbox there, hit load, and it loads that family into the window command in Revit. So now when I go back to the architecture tab window, that family will be loaded. And the family is called Instance Window Fixed. And if I open it, that family, this family here, has 3 types of windows in it. These 3 here. Now, because of the kind of the family it is, it can be changed. So you kind of have to ignore these dimensions here. I'm going to grab that window, and window needs a family. It needs, well, the family of the window needs a host, and a host is basically a wall where the window is going to be inserted. So if I click on this wall, you see the window begins to appear. If I click, Revit automatically cuts a hole out of the wall and puts that window in there. If I click on the window, I can flip it over and decide what side of the window is going to get the sill. Like, is a sill favoring the outside? Is a sill favoring the inside? You can flip-flop these windows any which way you like. There's mullions here on either side. This is the window opening. And I can confirm that in 3D. Basically, I'm using the shift mouse wheel. And you can see here on the elevation, I've got a window placed right there with a very deep sill on the exterior of the building, if that's the design you're after. I'm going to flip-flop it and put the window sill on the inside of the building. And again, if I go to 3D, you'd see the frame's on the outside, the sill's on the inside of the building, so there's a piece of glass on the outside. Let's say that's the design I like. It's not the right size. Click. These grips allow you to stretch the window to the reference planes, because the reference planes tell you how wide the window is. So I like to use the align command, modifier AL, the align command here. I'll go here with this edge. I'll go here with this edge. Escape, escape to cancel the command. Done. There's the window. There's one window. The width is located, but I don't have the height. But that's fine. I can figure out the floor plan first. Click on this window. Here's mirror command that lets you flip a copy of that object over a center line. So if I use the mirror command here and pick an axis like this one, it flips it over. Okay, good. Got 2 windows now. Go to 3D. There's 2 windows. Best way to rotate in 3D is to click on an object and then use mouse wheel and hold down shift. I can spin around that window there. All right, great. I've got the windows located. They're not the right height. Okay, step 2. Go back to your floor plan and launch the elevation. In fact, I just launched it directly here. It's already a tab. And these green lines show you how tall those windows should be. Nice to have. So here, AL for align, go to the reference plane with the bottom of that window. Go to the reference plane to the bottom of the window. Go to this green line here with the top of that window. Same green line with the top of this window. Okay, I've got those 2 windows situated where they belong because they match this CAD file. You don't have to do it this way. You can basically simply use the tape measure here and measure how tall these windows are and enter those values yourself, or copy these lines exactly by that distance if you want to. I'm going to grab these windows here, holding shift, grab them both. I'm sorry, control. I'm going to grab them both at the same time. I'm going to copy. And I'm going to copy them from the corner of the window to the top of the corner of the window, right there. And obviously they'll be too tall. And that's what the reference plane is for. They get stretched down to the height of the reference plane. You can click on the grip and pull it down to here. And sometimes they snap nicely. Sometimes they don't. I just rather do it right the first time. AL, go to here to align. There's the top of the window. Escape, escape when you're done. And I'm done with the work. I don't need these reference planes any longer. I would erase those. I don't need these reference planes here. I would erase them. And I've got 4 windows. Those 4 windows get copied across the elevation. It's obvious here. That window is copied 1, 2, 3, 4 times across the elevation, and in fact, around the entire building. So if you want to copy this window in multiple locations, I suggest, because it's a pack of 4, because if I was doing this in the floor plan, I can grab these windows down here, but it won't grab the ones above. So I want a 4-pack. I want to click that window, hit Shift on my keyboard, and grab all 4 of the, not Shift, I'm sorry, Control. The little plus sign shows up on your mouse. I'm going to grab all 4 of those. And I'm going to make a collection. What Revit calls a group right here. Under Manage button, there's called a Create Group command, or GP. And then give it a name. You don't have to give it a name, but let's say, for example, I'll call it Window 4. Hit OK. I've used that in the past. So window, let's window -4 or something. Hit OK. The name has to be unique. So there is the window right there. Now, if I go to the floor plan now and I were to copy it, it's going to bring all 4 copies. It's like a block in AutoCAD, which is great because all the other windows are exactly the same. I can't see them now because they're beneath the Revit file. So I'm going to go back to wireframe. I can see that window there. So I'm going to grab this window here and copy it from corner to corner. I'm going to grab the corner of this window here, and they're not going to be exactly matching the CAD drawing. We're not going through that exercise. We can do it if we want to, but that's besides the point of this exercise. I copied that window there. I'm going to grab this window, hold Control, grab that window, copy them both at the same time. Use copy command, go to that corner, zoom out, scroll with the mouse wheel, and zoom into this location here. I'm going to copy it here and here at the same time. I'm going to click. And there they are, copied there. So I've got those 4 windows done. And next, around the other side of the building, there's other windows. Let me delete these for a second because I placed them earlier. So let's say I want to take that 4-pack and copy it to here, around the corner, where I can't use the copy command because it's expecting the copy to be on a plane. These windows need to rotate and then get placed on a new plane. Not the north elevation, but the west elevation. So I'm going to click on that window. I'm going to right click on it once it's highlighted, and I'll use Create Similar. It makes a copy. And then when I hover over a new wall like this one, I can place it anywhere I like. Therefore, I can then grab this window, use the move command. Here's the move command here, and move it from this corner to this corner. These commands are a lot like AutoCAD. Copy this window, copy command, maybe from this corner of the opening to the same place in the other window here. Done. This building is symmetrical. I'm going to try to find the center, to flip it over the center of the building. Let me make an attempt. I'm going to grab these 2 using Control. I'm going to use the mirror command here. I'm going to draw a mirror line because I have no line that describes where the center of the building is. So I'm going to guess. I'm going to draw my own center line, little pencil there. I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to assume that this mullion in the center of this window is the center of the building. I'm going to click on it with a little triangle. That's the center. I'm going to drag a line over here to the left, hold Shift to make it perfectly straight. I'm sorry, Control. Click. And then it copied it over to here. It's not quite in the right place. And it looks like there's 3 windows over there. So we can just make a quick adjustment. Simply just move command, go from the corner of the window to the corner of the window. I know they're all the same. I'm going to copy that window that I've highlighted there from this corner to the same corner on this window. And this one here landed almost in the right spot. You see it's slightly off. I'm going to use the align command AL. Go to here with this. And when I go to 3D, you'll see that, oh, something happened here. I'm going to delete this for a second. Got to test the 3D views to make sure nothing got corrupted. But here, I'm going to take that window, use the copy command, and go from corner to corner. So this corner to the exact same corner on this wall here. It looks like this wall may have moved. This wall is not in alignment with the exterior wall. I'm going to use align command. Align this to there. Now they're lined up perfectly. So these windows were out of sync. And I think that's probably part of the problem earlier, but they seem to be corrected now. They moved with the wall. I'm going to copy that window here from this corner to the same corner here. Maybe use the align command to move it up a little bit. And when I go to 3D, I can see, in fact, it's taken care of. The one thing I forgot to do is when I use the mirror command, there's a checkbox to copy it, not just mirror it and erase the originals. So I erased those windows from over there. When you use the mirror command and I choose these windows to flip over, here's the mirror command here. The copy command here needs to be checked. So it leaves these behind and makes a copy. I'm going to use the copy command here, this one here. I'll just go from this corner of the wall to the same corner of the wall up here somewhere. And then do some aligning here. Not quite exact, but now they are. So there's the windows. And you can do the same throughout the entire design. Another final quick tip. If I go to 3D, again, you've got your CAD drawing down there. It's in alignment with this elevation. Great. I use it to draw this elevation. I can use it to draw the rear elevation as well. But I just need to move up the right elevation drawing to the right place so the floors line up. That would be the south. I'd have to basically unpin this. Here's unpin. Move the drawing up and line up the floor with the south. This is the south elevation. So AL is a line. Here's the floor. Here's the floor. They now line up. Then pin it so it doesn't move accidentally. And then do the work of drawing the guidelines to locate exactly how high or tall the windows are. Not required. You could easily measure the CAD drawings yourself and do the math. But this is a quick way of using CAD drawings if you have them. Finally, if I go to the floor plan, and let's say I want to work on the west elevation, this elevation here. Well, then if I click on the west elevation here, the CAD drawing is right there. It's sideways. It's facing north and south. It's not facing me east and west. So to remedy that problem, I would go back to 3D. I'd go back to the top view and basically take your billboard and rotate it. So you got to unpin it first so you're able to do this work to it. So I'm going to unpin it. I'm going to click on it. Here's the rotate command. Have a starting point anywhere on the screen and type 90 degrees. And then just confirm that is the right direction, not negative 90. But if I go here in 3D, a little icon there. Let's see. This side should have 3 windows, so it's backwards. So basically, you need to rotate 180 degrees. You got to make sure it's facing the right direction. I want to click on this, rotate, start anywhere, 180. And now if I go back to the floor plan and I look at the west elevation, it's going to get cropped off because, again, the crop region is activated here. If it's faded, it's because you're also using a scope box. This may or may not be the case in your example. This is not required. But in this example, it is turned on. So I need to turn that thing off. Then I can uncheck that box. Then I can zoom all and see if the CAD drawing appears. It does not appear. Have it intersect the floor plan like we did before. Go back to 3D. Grab the CAD file. Drag it on top of the floor plan, literally. And now when you go to the west elevation, it's on top of the building. Then you can do the work of doing the alignments you want. You can slide it over here. You can line up the floors. I'm looking for that tall window there. I'm going to line up the floors, draw the reference planes, and do the work of lining up the windows exactly where I want them to be in this west elevation. And I can do the same for the east elevation very, very quickly. So that is a quick tip on how to use elevation drawings in Revit and some of the issues you might find where the drawing just disappears. It's bizarre, but sometimes this happens. So how do I adjust for that issue and compensate for that? So don't forget, before you're done, go back to, when you're completely done, go back to your crop region and turn it back on. If you're using a scope box, make sure you reactivate your scope box, and then it'll cut out anything outside of that box. The CAD file is still here. out in space. So you're going to do this after you're completely done. And then when you're ready, hide the CAD drawing. Go to Insert, go to Manage Links here. Under CAD formats, you'll see the elevation drawing there. And if you no longer want to use it, you can temporarily hide it with the Unload command. If you want to erase it permanently from your project, because you're not going to use it again, you're gonna remove it. It's up to you. It won't be seen if you unload it from any view in your entire project. So it's safe just to unload it until the very end when you 100% are certain you're not going to need elevation. Then you can remove it and it'll be gone for good. So save your work. And that's the quick tip on how to show an elevation in a CAD elevation drawing in an elevation environment in Revit, one of the elevation views in Revit, if for whatever reason the CAD file disappears on you. So that's how to get it done. Okay, take care. Good luck.